Hello everybody, I'm Kat and I'm gonna be hauling some books today. So these books I've had since I think the end of February, and I've been collecting books since then. And there are so many books, it's kind of insane. So I'm just gonna jump into it because we've got a lot of books here to get through. So the first book I have here is Yes, No, Maybe So by Becky Albertalli and Aisha Saeed. I apologize for my mispronunciation. This book follows these two kids who are campaigning for opponents in a local election. I believe it's kind of an enemies to lovers romance, but I may be wrong there. I'm just assuming based off of the summary. It sounds really cute. I mean, Becky Albertalli writes adorable romances. I have yet to read the book that she wrote with Adam Silvera, but I've heard fantastic things about it. This sounds right up my alley. The next book I have here is Lucky Caller by Emma Mills. This is about a girl. She works at like a radio station. Everything is going wrong at said radio station, and one of the new workers there is actually the main character's childhood best friend, and I believe it's a childhood best friend to lovers trope, which is a classic in my opinion. Emma Mills' stuff has been getting really great reviews. The more books that she has out, the more great things I hear about it. I have yet to read a book by her. This one just sounded super adorable and I really love the cover. The next book is actually two books of the same book, if that makes any sense, but it's Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is the standard hardcover first edition. You know Cordelia, you love her. We are Cordelia stans here. And then this is the exclusive Waterstones edition, and it's shiny. I'm assuming that this is Cortana on the cover. I'm interested to see like how they're gonna do the other covers for this series, because like for TDA, you can kind of see it behind me, but it has like the different runes on the covers. It's the same for the Red Scrolls of Magic. That's a rune on the cover. At least I think it is. I could be wrong about that. But I'm interested to see what other objects they're gonna put on the cover for this series, because this is, I'm pretty sure it's Cortana. If not, it's clearly a sword. What's it gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Also, I read Chain of Gold and there's a review up, so you should definitely go check that out if you want to see my full thoughts on it, but I really enjoyed my time with it. Next, I have Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas, or House of Earth and Blood. I think the series is called Crescent City, and then like House of Earth and Blood is like the name of the book. It's so confusing the way it is, because you don't know, is that the title or is that the title? And like the spine doesn't help you either. I don't even know what it's called. It's Sarah J. Maas's adult fantasy book. I've been hearing kind of mixed things across the board. I think most people have been giving it like 3.5 stars. I have heard some positive things about it too, so it's kind of like all over the place. I mean, I have not read a Sarah J. Maas book since I read Heir of Fire like 4 years ago or something like that, and I've been wanting to go back into the Throne of Glass world and reread the first 3 books because I read those and then finish it. I also want to read the ACOTAR books because I started reading ACOTAR and then I just kind of put it down because I'm like, I wasn't feeling it at the time. So I need to get more into Sarah J. Maas's series because that's just something I've been wanting to do. The next book I have, I actually featured in one of my Chick Litathon vlogs. I believe it's the first one I uploaded where I read Red, White, and Royal Blue. So if you have not watched that, you can go check out that vlog. But I already talked about this book a little bit in there, but this is The Little Book of Self-Care for Capricorns. I am a Capricorn. This is a book to help me practice self-care. It's kind of interesting though, and I think it'll be like a good short read. The next book I have here is Sweet Filthy Boy by Christina Lauren. This book follows these 3 girls after their college graduation where they decide to spend a weekend in Vegas, and while they're in Vegas they meet 3 other guys, and after a wild night of fun each girl ends up married to a guy. This is a whole series, I believe. I think there are 3 other books in the series, so it has 4 books in total. This is book 1. I really like this book. This was on my Chick Litathon TBR, but then I ended up not reading it in the month of May, so I read it in June and it was so much fun. It was just an entertaining read. I think I gave it like 4.5 stars was a blast. So next I actually have a whole series here, and this is another series that I featured in one of my Chicklitathon vlogs. I believe it was the second one, but that is the new covers of the Lunar Chronicle series by Marissa Meyer. So let me show you each cover individually. So we have Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, and Winter. And I'm actually currently reading Winter. You can see, well, my bookmark's kind of hiding, but I'm like halfway through reading Winter. I genuinely have not read this series since middle school. It's been very interesting returning to this world after not being in it for years and realizing how much I've forgotten of the storyline and how much of the character dynamics I've forgotten. But so far I've been really enjoying my time reading Winter. It's been a blast. The next book I have here is the Penguin Classics edition of The Great Gatsby. It's shiny. I love shiny books. Can you tell? This is just a beautiful edition of this book. This book is one of my favorite reads that I read this year. Next, I have Joe and Laurie by Margaret Stoll and Melissa de la Cruz. This is supposedly like a Little Women retelling, but it's where Joe and Laurie get together. I don't know. I read Little Women earlier this year and I had a blast reading it. I listened to the audiobook that Laura Dern narrates. It's perfection. Like, I loved every second of it. I know what happens in Little Women. I'm familiar with the characters and the story. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this, but at the end of the day, I just hope it's an entertaining read. That's all I want out of it. It also has a beautiful spine. Like, hello? This spine kind of snapped. Do you see it? It's probably out of focus, but I love the spine of this novel. The next book I have here is Crave by Tracy Wolff, and much like everyone else on book Twitter, I saw this in the store and thought, that's not Midnight Sun. I've heard great things about this book. I've heard that it's, you know, just fun to read. It's fun to be in this story. The next two books I have here are the Sailor Moon short stories, volume 1 and 2. I don't really know what these are about. I think these are just like short stories in the world of Sailor Moon. I don't know like where they take place in the series. I finished the series a few years ago. I loved reading all the Sailor Moon manga books, and so when I saw these at Barnes & Noble, I was like, the next book I have here is Chasing Lucky by Jen Bennett. This is the UK edition. This is about a photographer who has moved across the country countless times with her mom, and eventually they end up moving back to Josie, the main character, her hometown. She runs into her former childhood best friend. We've got some Ramona Blue vibes here with like childhood best friend to lovers, like we feeling it, we feeling it. This cover's really pretty. I've never noticed the UK covers of Jen Bennett books, but they're like super pretty, like, hello? The UK kind of snapped with that, but it sounds adorable. I have yet to read a Jen Bennett book, but I have all of them now that are currently out. The next books I have here is another series that was recently recovered, and that is the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. This series consists of The Lost Hero, The Son of Neptune, The Mark of Athena, The House of Hades, and The Blood of Olympus. Now with this series, I've actually read the first two books of it, but I never actually finished reading this series. I've only read The Lost Hero and The Son of Neptune. Finishing this series is something I've been wanting to do since Rick Riordan announced that Percy Jackson is coming to Disney+. Hopefully I will get around to that this summer. I was planning on doing a full reread of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and then I would dive into Heroes of Olympus. And finally, the last book I have here today is actually not a book, it's a novella, and that is Love Creekwood by Becky Albertalli. This is a novella that follows the characters from Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda and Leah on the Offbeat. I believe this novella takes place a year after the events of Leah on the Offbeat, and it follows our two couples. I'm not going to say any names because of spoilers, but it follows two couples that we meet in those two books. It's kind of their emails back and forth as they navigate their first year of college and all that fun stuff. I was really excited when this came out because I am a big fan of both Simon vs. and Leah on the Offbeat. I'm like one of the few people who actually enjoyed reading Leah on the Offbeat, but I was so excited when Becky Albertalli announced this because I love these characters a lot. Hopefully this will just be a fun, quick read. Alright, and that is it for this book haul. Let me know down below if you've read any of the books that I've mentioned in in this haul because I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post videos on Thursdays, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!